There are moments when something inside you shifts, quietly, without announcement. You can't explain it to anyone. You wake up one morning and feel an almost imperceptible change in the air, as if the space around you is charged with a silent expectation. It's not dramatic, it's not loud, but your body knows. Your breath feels different. Your heartbeat has a rhythm you haven't noticed before. Somewhere deep in your cell, a conversation has begun, one that your conscious mind hasn't yet joined. Bruce Lipton calls this cellular intuition, the capacity of your biology to sense what is coming before you can name it. Your cells are always listening to your environment, inside and out. They respond to signals long before your thoughts catch up. This is not imagination, it is biology. Your body reads the subtle language of change, the tone of someone's voice, the shift in a familiar routine, the unseen movements in the field of possibilities that surrounds you, and it begins to prepare. Hormones adjust. Heart rhythms find a new pattern. Even the tiny muscles in your face, those that speak the truth of what you feel, start to align with a reality you have yet to live. Joe Dispenza often speaks of field coherence, the way your heart and mind create a frequency that interacts with the electromagnetic field around you. Long before you take a leap in life, this field begins to shift. Your brain, through the wonder of neuroplasticity, starts reshaping its pathways to match the life that is approaching. This happens before you have evidence, before there's proof to point to. It's like the first tremors in the earth, before a seed breaks open underground. No one sees it, yet it is unstoppable. Sometimes, though, what you feel in these moments can be confusing. You might mistake this subtle reorganization for restlessness, distraction, or even the urge to escape your current life. You may feel impatient, thinking you're failing because you don't see results yet. But not all movement is visible. True vibrational acceleration often looks like stillness on the outside. It's a deep retuning on the inside, gathering of energy before release. And here lies the paradox. The leap you're waiting for has already begun within you. The shift is happening at a level you can't control with willpower. It is not about forcing, chasing, or proving. It is about allowing the invisible to take root, the way the earth allows the seed to split without interference. You don't have to see the first sprout to know the growth is real. You can feel it in the quiet certainty that something is coming, something your cells already know. This is where our journey begins, learning to recognize and trust these whispers before the mind names them, because the moment before the leap is the leap itself, the silent disintegration before the expansion. There comes a time when life begins to loosen its grip on what you thought was permanent. It can arrive as chaos, loss, or a fog of confusion that refuses to clear. At first, it feels as if something precious is being taken, as if you are being dismantled piece by piece. But beneath that discomfort, a deeper intelligence is at work. Old neural patterns, the automatic ways your brain has been wiring your identity, are being gently but firmly undone. This is dismantling that must happen before a leap. What feels like collapse is often the precise space where expansion begins to form. Bruce Lipton speaks of this as cellular deprogram. Just as a chemical in the body can strengthen a belief, its absence can dissolve. Your cell, shaped for years by repeated thoughts and emotions, are now releasing their hold on the old codes you've been living. It's a process your mind may resist, because the familiar, even if pain feels safe, but at the cellular level, the protective structures are falling away. Your body is clearing space for a reality it has sensed, but you have not yet fully seen. In this in-between, the heart often grows heavier before it feels lighter. You may feel tired, disconnected, even doubtful about your path. This is not failure. This is detox. Outdated identities are leaving, and with them, the emotional and energetic residues that held you in place. The mind interprets this as a setback. The soul knows it is a clearing. One way to notice that this has happened is to observe the subtle shifts in your automatic reaction. The moment you pause before speaking words you would have once spoken without thought, the sudden discomfort in conversations that once felt normal, the decision to walk away from something that used to keep you anchored. These small breaks in your default patterns are proof of inner rewiring. It is like a snake shedding its skin, slow, awkward, sometimes uncomfortable. The old skin has served its purpose. It held you while you grew inside it, but now it is too tight for who you are becoming. Shedding is not graceful, it is necessary. And once it is gone, what remains is raw, sensitive, and completely ready for the next season of growth. The magnetic pull of impossible ideas. There are thoughts that arrive uninvited, visions that seem too big to belong to you. They don't come with explanations or logical timelines. They come as flashes in the quiet, as images that return again and again. again, no matter how many times you push them aside. These are not distractions. They are signals. They are the seeds of a future already encoded within you, whispering for your attention. To the rational mind, these ideas look improbable, perhaps even foolish. Yet the more you try to dismiss, the more persistent they become. They surface in dreams, in sudden waves of longing, in moments when the world around you feels strangely still. Bruce Lipton reminds us that our genes respond to more than just physical environments. They respond to emotional and mental imagery. When you hold an image charged with emotion, your biology begins to align with. Your body doesn't wait for proof. It starts adapting to match the reality you are repeatedly feeling inside. This is the paradox. The clearer your inner image, the less you need to see evidence outside yourself. You no longer chase signs because you're living in the presence of what is already forming. In that space, trust becomes natural. You stop asking how and begin listening for when. When these visions take root, you may find it impossible to ignore them. They feel alive in your body. Your breath slows when you imagine. Your chest feels warm. Your skin tingles as if touched by something unseen. These are the subtle alignments of energy and biology, the merging of thought and feeling into coherence. It is not fantasy. It is a rehearsal at the level of the nervous system, preparing you for the moment the unseen becomes seen. It is like walking across a bridge you can only see halfway. At first, it feels uncertain, but with each step, the next section reveals itself, and the path becomes undeniable. The destination does not have to be fully visible for you to keep moving toward. The leap is already in motion from the very moment the vision refuses to let you go. Emotional coherence becomes non-negotiable. There comes a point on the path to transformation when certain emotions, conversations, and environments begin to feel unbearable. It's not arrogance. It's not distant. It is the body's way of protecting the frequency you are beginning to embody. The heart starts to reject what is out of tune with your next chapter. Old habits, gossip-filled interactions, and the weight of unspoken resentments become impossible to carry without feeling an almost physical discomfort. This is because emotional incoherence creates friction within you. You may say you want abundance, yet silently hold bitterness toward those who have. You may long for love, while guarding yourself with suspicion. Joe Dispenza speaks of how the heart's electromagnetic field collapses under such contradictions. The signal you send into the field is no longer steady, and the energy that matches your desired reality cannot find you with the same clarity. When coherence takes root, it is not a mental decision. It is a whole body alignment. The mind imagines, the heart feels, and the body begins to act as if the new life is already here. In this state, the smallest disturbances are noted, not because you are fragile, but because you have become finely attuned. The same way a musician hears when an instrument is slightly out of pitch. You begin to sense when something in your life is not resonating with your deeper truth. This stage is both tender and powerful. You may feel yourself letting go of relationships that once defined you, withdrawing from situations that once seemed harmless. This withdrawal is not about building walls. It is about tuning your own strings before the concert begins, because the leap that is approaching requires clarity, and clarity is born in the resonance between thought, feeling, and action. When emotional coherence becomes non-negotiable, you no longer measure your worth by what you tolerate. You measure it by how deeply you honor your inner frequency. And from that place, every step you take is already a step into the life you have been waiting. Synchronicity multiply and defy logic. As the leap draws nearer, the world begins to speak to you in pattern. You notice the same numbers appearing in unexpected places. A word you've been thinking about shows up in a stranger's conversation. People you haven't seen in years suddenly cross your path at precisely the moment you've been reflecting on. These moments feel intimate, as if reality itself is leaning closer to whisper, "You're on the right track." Neuroscience calls this the reticular activating system, a filter in your brain that becomes hypersensitive to what matters most to you. When your inner focus sharpens, you begin to notice details that were always present but hidden from your awareness. Yet Bruce Lipton's quantum perspective takes this further. These moments are not simply your mind picking out patterns. They are the magnetic effect of resonating within a field that matches your vibration. Similar energies gather, similar events cluster. It's tempting to believe that synchronicities mean you have already arrived, but often they are invitations rather than conclusions. They are markers along the path, signs that your frequency is aligning but still fine-tuning, like the trembling of a compass needle when it is close to magnetic north. These moments guide you toward the final calibration. Over time, these patterns create a sense of intimate dialogue between you and life itself. They dissolve the illusion of separation, reminding you that the leap is not only about what you choose, but also about how the universe meets you in that choice. This interplay builds trust. Even when the outcome is not visible, the signs themselves become a kind of sustenance, proof that your energy is already interacting with what is to come. In these moments, logic softens. You realize the leap you are sensing is not a solo act. It is a co-creation, choreography between your inner state and the field around you. And with each synchronicity, you feel the invisible threads pulling tighter, weaving you into the exact place where the next step will reveal itself. The urge to simplify becomes overwhelming. There comes a moment when complexity begins to feel heavy, almost unbearable. The noise, clutter, the constant inflow of information, what once felt normal, now feels like interference. You sense the need to clear space, not only in your home, but in your mind, your relationships, and the very air you breathe. This is not minimalism as a trend. It is a deep biological instinct to create room for the leap that is preparing to unfold. Bruce Lipton's work reminds us that our cells are in constant conversation with their environment. Every sound, every sight, every texture we live in sends a signal that shapes our inner state. When our surroundings are crowded or chaotic, the body remains in a subtle state of vigilance. But when we create simplicity, whether by clearing a table, reducing digital noise, or closing unfinished loops, our biology receives a message of safety. And in that safety, a higher states of creativity and problem-solving can emerge. The trap is believing that more input will accelerate change. In truth, overconsumption of ideas, of advice, of distractions dilutes your focus and scatters your energy. The leap does not require you to gather more. It requires you to release what no longer aligns, so that the essential can become visible. This act of simplification is quiet but powerful. It's the feeling of closing one chapter fully before opening the next. It's the pause between breaths. It's the bow drawn back to its stillest point before the arrow is released. Nothing seems to be happening, yet everything is gathering in that moment. When the urge to simplify arrives, it is a sign that your inner world is reorganizing for what is to come. The excess is falling away. The signal is becoming clear. And in that clarity, the leap can find its way to you without obstruction, recognizing the moment before the moment. There is a stillness that comes just before a great change. It is not the absence of movement, but the quiet alignment of everything that has been gathering in the unseen. Your body begins to act as though the leap has already taken place. You notice yourself speaking, deciding, and even carrying yourself in ways that belong to the life you have been envisioning. The future is not just approaching, it is already vibrating within you. Bruce Lipton describes this shift as the moment when the subconscious mind changes its primary set. It moves from protection into expansion. The chemistry of your body begins to reflect that new state. Hormones, neural messengers, and cellular responses all reorient toward growth. Fear no longer dictates the boundaries of your action. Instead, there is a readiness, even if you cannot yet explain why. Joe Dispenza teaches that in these moments, neural firing patterns start to mirror the frequency of the reality you have imagined. It becomes measurable, an electromagnetic imprint that signals to the field around you that you are no longer waiting. You are already in habit. This is why opportunities, connections, and solutions begin to appear as if out of nowhere. They are drawn to the coherence you now embody. It is like the stillness before dawn. The sky has not yet broken with light, but the air already carries the certainty of morning. The leap you've been sensing is not the sunrise itself. It is this deep inner knowing that the light is inevitable. There is no urgency, no grasp. There is only the steady, quiet truth that the moment is already yours. In this space, the leap is not something you chase, it is something you allow. It emerges through coherence of thought and feel, through the truthfulness of your emotion, and through the small daily alignments that keep you anchored in the reality you have chosen. And as you breathe into this knowing, you may find yourself saying, without hesitation, I am alive, I am ready, I am already becoming.